Yeah,
So what grade is that?
I'm going into sophomore year this year.
Okay, awesome. So we loved your page. Can you kind of just tell me a little bit about why you wanted to start it?
Sure. So I lost my grandpa to COVID-19 in May, May 8th actually, and since then the numbers have been rising. And with school coming up, a lot of people have been trying to rationalize going back to school by saying the mortality is low, it's less than 1%. And although the mortality is low, in a way it's almost dismissive and kind of callous to those who've lost their lives. You know, I know that in my situation, my grandfather passed by himself. He had a nurse, but obviously family couldn't be with him. And I know that a lot of families are in the same kind of boat. So my mentality going into this project with him as the inspiration is to use him as a way for, I guess, families to voice their loved ones and to honor their memory, as well as express how important, I guess, understanding the severity of this virus is.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear about your grandpa.
Thank you.
When did you start making these pieces of art? I assume you started with your grandpa. When did you formally launch this page?
So I started 3 days ago informally. That's like when I was messing around with my grandpa's portrait, and then we officially started it 2 days ago.
And how much has it grown since then? What's been the reaction?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. I mean, we've gotten so much support, appreciation. We have over 700 people on Facebook, and that's still growing. I'm getting messages exponentially greater than I could have ever anticipated, and it's amazing.
So are all these portraits like people who have reached out to you with their loved one and saying like, this is a story, can you do my, loved one?
Yeah, so a lot of times we get the message from the family, and then from there they tell us who she is or who he is. They go on their story, and then from there we're able to use that information to not only make their memorial, but then also explain who they were as a person.
How has that been for you? Because I can imagine, it makes you feel good to do the art, but I bet it's hard also to see all those messages.
It's definitely bittersweet because a part of me understands how important this is to families, because it's differentiating a person from the sea of numbers that we've become so used to. And so a part of me is extremely blessed and grateful to be able to have this honor to do it for these families. But the sad part of it is that there's just so many, and the impact that this virus has had on so many lives is just incredibly upsetting. But I'm happy I'm able to bring them some comfort. Yeah.
Are there any stories that you've done so far, portraits you've done, anything that stands out to you in particular?
I mean, a lot of the stories are amazing. I mean, I did one of a man that was in Red Cross. He dedicated his lives to his kids. I did another one where he was only 35. He had 5 kids. He was married to his wife for 12 years. And I mean, and then you do older people, like more elderly people who've passed as well, and you just go through their achievements and their accomplishments in their lives, and it's just incredible to be able to preserve that in a memorial that the family gets to have.
Do you think, so many months into this pandemic that people are maybe starting to forget that this data, there's really humans and families behind it?
Yeah, that was actually one of the reasons I started this. It's because I was looking at the numbers and they keep increasing, and it hasn't been on as much on the news as it used to be, in the sense that it's become so normalized, I guess is the right word to use. And just seeing the numbers and having my own experience from it, I think that in doing what I'm doing, I'm trying to put light to the fact that these are legitimate people and not just numbers that are increasing.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this kind of like cartoon art stuff?
Well, I've actually done art all my life. My grandpa, who's in the portrait behind me, and I did the painting of him, he was an artist himself, and so I got a lot of his artistic abilities, if you will, and so I've been doing the cartoon aspect for a little bit because we got an iPad and I just kind of exploded with inspiration from there. But this actual memorial thing, as I said, it's only been for like 3 days.
Yeah. Knowing your grandpa was so into art, and now you're using this as a way to commemorate not only him but other families. I mean, do you get the feeling that he's proud of that? Does that bring you peace?
I definitely think, I mean, he was never one to be the spotlight person. He definitely would probably not want to be the highlight of all of this, but I think that he would be extremely proud of me not only sharing other people's stories, but being able to bring to light that these people should not be thrown into, their legacy should not be erased by this virus. And so in doing what I'm doing and using art as the way to express that, I think that that's something that he would be very proud of.
If people take away one thing from what you're doing, what do you want that thing to be?
I would say the one thing is that although these numbers are increasing and the mortality is low, I think that people should still have that compassion that we did at the beginning, where these are lives, these are legitimate families that are being ruined, and I'm hoping that the faces I draw and memorialize help show people visually the impact that this virus has had on our country.
Is there anything else you wanted to add or mention that I didn't ask about?
I think you hit a lot of the bases. I think just to kind of reiterate once again, my grandpa was everything to me. And I know that I can speak from my experience that this virus has definitely done a massive impact on our family. I mean, we will never be the same again. And then knowing how he passed and not being able to have been there with him, it's definitely something that's taken a toll on all of us. So I think I can speak for a lot of families in saying that this virus is not just 1%, that a lot of people have condensed it to, and that this is something bigger and needs to be stopped.
Yeah. Well, you are amazing. We love your page. We love what you're doing. So thank you so much for talking with us. Is Mom over there? Can we have you guys
Yes.
trade spots?
Of course. Thank you so